I've never witnessed eternal love until I experienced you and your love, is how this person feels about you. Good day, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Milk Honey Rose. I am Mystic Alchemy. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I picked up on a message after the first message from this morning about your confidence and you having eternal love. It's like immediately after I stopped recording, I picked up on this message. And this person also was able to see how your love started with you. They saw that. They witnessed it because of your fruit, what you speak, what you create, what you know, what you share, what you teach, what you choose to receive. Okay? I know that was a lot, but this is how it came to me, so I gave it to you like it came. Okay? And this person recognizes the fact that you have overcome one of the most challenging wars within yourself, to love yourself, to love oneself in a society that has mutated into a space to always find something wrong with yourself. Okay? This is what society has kind of mutated into. And it's all about the cash. Okay? It just reverts back to the cash. So you broke out of that. Okay? You broke out of that mindset a long time ago because you've learned to know better. And you've learned to allow your inner guide to guide you. You allow the God in you to guide you. This person sees that, and they see that the reason why you have such an ability to understand people for who they are, regardless of their level of consciousness, they know that has to come from a place of eternal love for self. Instead of being so judgy, now you just look at a situation or a person or a thing for what it is. You don't allow yourself to be convoluted by the extra aspects of a person's ways. You know it's deeper than that. It's not just what you see in the forefront. People and their behavior it goes much deeper than what we can see with our physical eye. It's a spiritual thing. You know, when you see people doing things and they just don't really know why, they don't have a rationale behind why they behave certain ways, you know it's because they're being controlled by a demonic energy. You know that is something that's in the unseen. You can tell. You know that now. So this person sees that. You could tell when someone is suffering or struggling through some type of affliction because of their environment, what they've been exposed to, and how they react or respond to their environment. Some people outgrow their environment, and just because they grew up in a space doesn't mean that they psychologically become encapsulated in the ways of their environment that they grew up with. Some people bust out of that. That's the first matrix, for real. Now that I think about it, that's the first matrix. That's like a baby matrix because then we have the big dome around us. But that's like the baby version of what we struggle with, which is not really a baby version. Can I call it that? Let me see. It's the milk. It's the milk part of Milk Honey Rose. It's the foundation. You know, when you are able to break out of even familial norms, because sometimes familial norms are not favorable for you, and one must learn to detach from what is unfavorable for them. You did that, okay? So you have that foundation. You have that strength, which is that milk. You have that sustenance within your subconscious mind because you have created your own belief system based on your intuitive nudges and you following your own destiny, and not letting everybody else sway you to and fro. There's always a time in the beginning, maybe not always, but many times in the beginning, you kind of just like do things that you see around you. That's just that's who we are. That's how we learn. Just like babies. Babies do what they see. And they want to explore. That same life cycle, that same development that a child goes through, we go through that over and over again. Honestly, throughout life, it's just that each phase and each life cycle, dependent on the age bracket that you're in, there's different phases and stages, but it's still a death and a rebirth. It's still the same thing. You shed your old ways and you adapt, assimilate to new ways. Now, this person sees like the best in you because they see that you have reached your rose phase where it's just nothing but growth. Okay? So you've gone through the foundation with that milk, okay? You were able to receive what you needed from your experience, which was the foundation of your learning experience where it all started, which is when you were younger, your childhood. You learned all that you could learn, and you made the choice to have your own mind and utilize your own mind. And you took from what you learned what was most favorable for you and what you saw as beneficial for your future, and you made it a belief. That's when it got sticky, like honey, milk, honey. That's the honey. The honey is when you basically create your own beliefs, about how you see the world. And no, not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to agree. That's okay. This is your life. This is your belief system. This is what makes sense to you. And that's how it's meant to be. Some people agree. Some people don't. That's life. Okay. Now that you have the milk and the honey, you have the perfect environment and understanding to be open enough and vigilant enough to grow. So you still keep, it's like you were able to filter now. Now you can filter what makes sense to you and what doesn't, and who makes sense to you and who doesn't. Like if there's certain people that aren't supposed to be in your life, then they won't be, because you won't allow them to be, because you know that they're not healthy for you, right? So that's really what this person was seeing in you on a deeper level, okay? They were seeing eternal love when they saw that confidence. That confidence comes from eternal love. All right, now I want to get into another aspect of this. I looked up eternal love meaning just so I can break it down from this perspective, like the Google search perspective, and share it with you. So I'll read it now. It says, eternal love is a deep, lasting emotional bond that is unaffected by time or circumstances, often described as a love that will last forever. It can represent a romantic relationship that transcends the physical, a spiritual connection, or the enduring love felt for someone who has passed away. It signifies a timeless, never-ending feeling that provides a sense of peace and happiness. Key aspects of eternal love: timeless and enduring. This love is seen as constant and perpetual, lasting through different phases of life and even beyond death. Unconditional and unchanging. It is a love that is not dependent on constant proximity, circumstances, or even being good enough, as seen in some religious contexts where God's love is described as eternal and unconditional. Yeah, that's it. A profound bond. Eternal love can refer to the deepest level of romantic or emotional connection, a bond that feels unbreakable and true. Spiritual connection, in a spiritual sense, it can represent the relationship between God and humanity, or a connection that transcends this life, possibly continuing into an afterlife. Enduring memory. For those who have lost someone, eternal love means means the love they felt continues to exist and shape their lives, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. Enduring memory. Yes. So I notice here that Google mentions a lot about romantic relationships, transcending the physical and spiritual connection, and also how I like this part. I've seen in some religious context where God's love is described as eternal and unconditional. No, that's not the one. Wasn't it something else I saw? No, spiritual connection. That's the one I'm talking about. The one that says, in a spiritual sense, it can represent the relationship between God and humanity, or a connection that transcends this life, possibly continuing into the afterlife. Yeah, that's what eternal love is for me mostly. That's what I think about when I think about eternal love. Eternal love only comes from, or only, it resides from the unity. It resides within God. Like the God in us is God itself, okay? God is all. When we look at each other, we see a glimpse of God. We have God within us. That we're little gods. I don't want to say little gods, but we have a little bit of God in all of us because we have our own will. So it's like revering God's power and putting God's power on a pedestal is a representation of the God that is within us, and God gives us our own will, right? We have our will to do whatever we want with this life. And when we make the choice to abide by the God within us, the highest version of ourselves, that is a representation of practicing eternal love, is what I get from eternal love. So you aligning yourself with your divine destiny is eternal love. When one rejects their divine destiny, that is rejecting love. Really, that's what it is. It's rejecting love. And the only other, I guess, option that you go for, or one would go for, not you per se, if one rejects God, they end up going down a wayward path, and they can end up getting into some activities that are ungodly, unbecoming of them, right? Okay, so that is what I'm getting here. They see you as someone who does practice exercising the ways of the God within you, the God and the goddess within you. And that's the beauty that they see in you. They see God on you. Okay, so I just wanted to go deeper into that aspect about eternal love, because that right there is what a lot of people are missing. And also, many people only equate love to romantic love. Love is so much more than just romantic love. Romantic love is just, that's like the last part. Really. That's the last, how can I say? It's one of those things that not everyone experiences in this lifetime, because maybe they're not meant to. Sometimes this lifetime is not always meant for you to be in love with an actual person or romantic partner. It's actually meant for you to find love for yourself sometimes. But however, if you overcome and you find love for yourself, then you're suitable to then be in a relationship or be in a divine union because you're ready for it. Many people want a divine union, but they're not ready for it. And how could you request or expect to be in a divine union if you're not really prepared or ready for it? And you don't really recognize what it takes to be in a divine union. Okay? So that's what I'm getting. Once you have a realization of self, you love yourself and you feel comfortable in your authenticity, that's when one is ready for a divine union. That's when one is ready for love. And being that this person can see that you're ready for whoever this resonates with, this is one of the aspects of your personality that is most illuminated, because they know that you can handle the love that they can give or that they give. Okay? And they know that you will also be able and have the capacity to give love the same in a reciprocal way. Okay, so that's it for this message. If you deem this energy as your own, okay, and you declare that this is your future love, drop it down in the comments below. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling my vibe, especially if this message does resonate with you. If you would like to book a healthy conversation, you can by visiting www.milkhoneyrose.org. Also, you can join the membership for additional content. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Sending my love to you, and I'll see you in the next one.